Hello everyone, and welcome to the June 2026 Energetic Insights. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Deepika Mystery, and I'm an intuitive guide, energy healer, coach, and a consultant. And for over 6.5 years now, I've been sharing these insights on a month-by-month basis, and it's really geared up for those of you that are becoming more and more consciously aware of your intuitive and energetic abilities and are looking for some practical guidance to help you to navigate your way through. So if this sounds like you, welcome, you're here at the right place. Oh my goodness, I hope I can get through these insights. It's absolutely baking here in London and I'm absolutely melting. I've tried to record these so many times, but hopefully this time is the last time. All right, let's first go to the announcements. The first one is the Energetic Alignment Session, which is our group healing journeys, is taking place Sunday, the 21st of June at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK time, and 7 p.m. European time. And the theme this month is called The Divine Feminine Energy. If you're curious to find out more about that, check out the link below. And then those of you that are looking for some additional support on a one-to-one basis, I've got 2 spots available for coaching, energy healing, and mentoring. And these are the 3-month or the 12-month program. If you're curious to find out more about that, go ahead to my website and message me there and I will get back to you. And then finally, if you haven't already done so, please do go ahead and subscribe to this channel, share this video with your loved ones, your family, your friends, your co-workers, leave a comment below and hit the thumbs up. Hopefully all of this will help me to grow this channel and get these messages out to those that actually really need them at this point. All right, before I dive into the energies for this month, I just wanted to say something. This is it's more of an important message, and it's a conversation that has come up over and over again in my community, the energetic alignment community, and also with friends as well. We are moving through a time at the moment which is complete and utter information overload, and many of us are becoming more and more sensitive while also trying to process everything that we have been processing and going through. So there's something here, and I think this goes across the whole energies for this month and towards and all the way through as we move through the next couple of years. It's going to be even more important to really use your discernment and taking what resonates with you and leave the rest. If something doesn't feel right for you, leave it. I will go more into it in one of the themes this month, because I think many of us are feeling really overwhelmed. The conversations I've had is like, Deepika, how do I know what is true? There's so many spiritual people that are not channeling the light, etc. There's so much that is going on. And this is the thing. I feel that there are so many different levels and dimensions. And if I go into it, it's going to be like a 2-hour TED talk or something like that. There's just a lot out there, and the quickest thing that I can say is to go into your heart and feel what is true for you and ignore the rest. And one of the things I think I saw on Pam Gregory's channel, and she was saying that there is a lot of fake information out there. So AI is now generating other people's contents and putting stuff together that they haven't haven't filmed. So this is why it's going to get even more important to really tune in and feel what you feel within yourself, and then that will tell you what is true and what is not. Okay, let's dive into the energies, and you'll find that this message is throughout the theme this month. So June really feels like a month of fireworks, and they're going to be exploding in all different directions, and it's going to feel very overwhelming, and many of us are going to feel very distracted and almost this kind of agitated feeling that I'm getting. So the key thing here is to stay grounded and keep going inside of yourself and connect deeper with your heart. If you think you're already connected with your heart, go deeper still. We have no idea how big our hearts are, and we need to keep going inwards and inwards and inwards and inwards. And especially the more sensitive we get and the more we expand, the deeper we have to ground and the deeper we have to go within our hearts. And this will help with everything in terms of all the information overload that many of us will be experiencing. The other thing that came through is that over the next coming months, especially from this month onwards, I think many of you guys already know this, but there's this massive sensation, and I think it's been dropped around in the media and everything, that many truths are going to come to light. Many truths that have been suppressed are going to come to light. However, the message that I got from the guides was like, not all truths are true or whole. Some are also wrapped up in narratives. So this is where it's going to be so important for you to use your discernment. Otherwise, it's going to be very easy to go into your mind and go into analysis paralysis and keep analyzing everything to understand what is true. Whereas actually your heart will tell you literally in a heartbeat. So just know that not all truths are truth, and we're not being told the full story. And I think that's important to know. But and to really stay connected with your body, because I feel that the more we keep going into mind, the more that we get distracted, the more disconnected we're going to become with our hearts and our body. And it's our hearts and our body that's going to help us drive us through these times and get us to where we need to get to. So the other way that I've got two other things that will kind of help you to explain these energies a little bit more. So one of the things into way to manage these energies is to stand back and observe without checking out. As I said, we're going to need our bodies. Our bodies have their own barometer that can sense these things before our minds do, and the body and the heart are going to be working more cohesively, and this system of ours is coming more and more online. So if you feel like you're being pulled into various different dynamics and stories and it's agitating you, notice to see whether that story is also residing within yourself. Many of us will be drawn to various different stories and dynamics outside of us because there's a part of us that is also in that story. So we might be having some inner conflicts here. Just notice the pull. And notice whether it's inside of you or outside of you. If it's outside of you, is there a part of you that is also in that? And the key thing here is to witness it and notice your judgments. Because what you'll see, if you're getting pulled and you're getting wrapped up in somebody else's dynamic, whether it's a collective dynamics or a family dynamic or a friendship dynamic or a work dynamic, whatever dynamic is, and you're getting drawn into it, notice your judgment. Because that is the key that will draw you into it. And it's probably just trying to pull out that judgment and own it. And the more that you can bring love, kindness, and compassion to it, and the more judgment can start to melt away and you become more aware of that. The other thing that I'm getting is when we're getting this pull sensation is to honor the pull with awareness. And it's interesting, there have been many times over the last couple of months where I've been pulled into various different narratives within the media and within various different circles. And the one thing is I've noticed initially I'll get pulled into it, and then when I have a quiet moment, I've kind of gone within myself and asked myself, okay, what is this showing me about me, and how do I cultivate more peace within myself? What part of me is feeling upset, angry, whatever it is? How can I bring more love, kindness, and compassion? Is there a part of me that's judging the situation? Okay, where is that judgment coming from? And resolving that within myself. And then I tend to feel a lot freer. Last month, I mentioned in one of the messages is resistance is not to be fought or feared. Hold it and it will melt away by itself. So what I feel when we are able to stand back, we're able to observe all of these different dynamics that is playing out. Sometimes we'll get pulled into it, and that's why we just need to step back out again. So just become aware that there's going to be these pulling sensations that is going to be happening throughout the next 3 or 4 months. And then the words I got is the light is getting brighter. And this has actually been my own personal experience, which I will share. Then I'll also share the image that I received for these insights as well. So about a couple of years ago, I would say it's about 3 years ago, I noticed that the light was getting brighter. And I remember saying to a friend, it was a cloudy day. I'm just like, oh my God, the light is really, really bright. Can you see it? Can you feel it? And it was like a felt sense and a seen sense with my actual eyes. So it's not my mind's eyes, my actual eyes, my human eyes. And I've noticed it again over the last couple of weeks. the light is getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And what I noticed this time is like, it's almost like I'm seeing magic in the light, and it sounds really kooky, I know, but there's a magical element to it. It's almost like I'm seeing something new for the very, very first time. And it really just opens my heart, and I do end up squinting my eyes, but it really opens my heart up. So when I asked the guides about this, the image that I got was this. So imagine being at a fireworks show, and you're looking up at the night sky, and all these fireworks are taking place. And you know, with most fireworks shows these days, they have a story. They go through a narrative. There's like it starts off small, then it crescendos, then it calms down again, then it crescendos again, calms down again. So you've got this up and down momentum, and then it's a big explosion right at the end, and then it's all over. So there is that kind of sensation. And what is happening? There's light. We're looking up at the night sky, and there's a bright light behind us that's getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And it's almost like as that gets brighter, it starts to seep through. And so the fireworks, which has been hypnotizing us, and we've been hypnotized and completely glued, and what is the word that I want to use? I can't find the word, it doesn't matter, completely hypnotized and glued to the fireworks, that we think there's nothing else but that. And then as this light starts to sleep in, we become less hypnotized by what is going on, and some of us starts to turn around, and when we turn around, we are blinded by this brightest bright light. So then we turn back around and face the night skies. But if we can turn around and just allow ourselves to absorb this bright blinding light, and it takes the body a little while to adjust, but when it does adjust, it will look like and feel like flow. It's fluid, it's ever changing, and there's this sense of evolving love moving through this energy. And that is the new energetic era that we're about to step into. So we're getting this dynamic at the moment of, you know, the fireworks are on repeat, and also there's this sentiment that, you know, it gets to a point that you've seen the show so many times, it's the same thing over and over again, and you're just simply tired of it. So again, when you get tired of it, many people are kind of dropping out of the hypnotized state and turning around and looking into this light. So I think that's a really positive message for all of us and where we're moving to at this time. So, and remember, what you focus on grows, and it becomes your reality, and you get to choose. Okay, here are some key dates. Some of them you're already aware of because I've mentioned them in the April and the May insights. And the first one is the 30th of April to the 15th of June. And I mentioned there's this sense of choppy waters. And many of us last month were riding these choppy waters like pro. So there'll be waves of change, acceleration, ascension, and awakening. And then this month, I feel that we're going to be moving more into this earth energy acceleration. So we're going to start to feel and sense and see more changes in June and July around the earth. And I'm not going to go into that. It could be anything, right? But just be aware of it and notice, and you'll start to feel it. Your sensitivities will start to pick this up. And then there is this sense of puzzle pieces being reorganized. So there's this energetic reorganization that is also happening. And what I'm feeling is that between the puzzle pieces, there's more space that's being created. So there's this sensation that it feels quite liberating and freeing. So we'll experience that, and I think some of this will still carry on. And then I think around the 18th and the 22nd of June, so I think it's a period between those 2 days, there's a sensation of a turning point energy, a tipping point energy. So something's about to tip over, and we're already feeling it. Like there has been momentum and movement from May. I know that there's a fog. It's not a frog, it's a fog that has lifted for many of us. It could be a frog if you want it to be a frog. No, I'm not going to make the frog sounds here. But anyway, there has been this crescendo that has been moving through us since May, and it's getting louder and louder and louder. And I feel the peak, like in music, we always have this crescendo, and sometimes it gets louder and then it gets quieter. But overall, you can have like crescendos and diminuendos. I can't even pronounce the word. I knew all the Italian words for this when I was studying music. But anyway, you got the crescendo, and then you can also have the small hair, let's call them hairpins because we can also call them hairpins. You've got a massive crescendo right at the bottom of the piece, and then you've got like mini crescendos and decrescendos that are happening throughout the pieces. So it's almost like, oh, it's getting louder, then it gets quieter. It's getting louder, then it's getting quieter. But overall, you're getting louder and louder and louder and louder. And so that bottom overall loudness is going to hit a peak around the 18th of July. And then it will be the same coming back down again. And I wonder if there's another kind of crescendo underneath the bigger crescendo that we're seeing at the moment. So just know that the volume is going to be turned out. There's going to be a lot of noise, and that's why it's going to be so important to really come into your heart center and trust what it is that is what you feel is true for you. All right, let me share the overall message from the guides before I go to theme 1. And they say, stop. Listen, go inwards. It is time to put your addicted devices down and go within yourself. Let go of the mind's need for control, to know what cannot be known, yet it's known to your creator heart. Feel what you need to feel. Express what you need to express. Hold what you need to hold, then go deeper within yourself. Connecting with your innate wisdom, inner knowing from your future past. Here you shall remember your truest nature. As the world around you crumbles and tumbles, we say, care for yourself as you rebirth yourself as you. So I think that's a message to keep on your phone this month, to remind yourself of, keep on your phone, probably not on your phone, maybe a piece of paper in your wallet or something like that, because it's time to put your addictive devices down. So I think it could be anything. So addictive devices could be chocolate as well as the phone. It could be work. It's a way in which you distract yourself. There's going to be so many distractions that it's time to put that down. If you are distracted, it's going to be even harder for you to discern because you're then not in your heart, you're in your mind. And then there's something here about letting go of the mind's need for control, to know what cannot be known. So what you're trying to figure out and what you're trying to get a better understanding with, and if you're trying to process that all on the level of mind, it's not going to work. You are going to get more and more frustrated and more agitated, more and more anxious. And this is where the letting go comes in really handy. And it's about the heart already knows, and this is where I feel that we're switching the operating system from the mind-made operating system to the heart-based operating system. And when we switch over these operating systems, we can't use the same tools as we have done using the tools in our mind. So there's so much to this message, but keep it and listen to it and hold it close to your heart to remind yourself as you go through the energies this month. Okay, let's do a quick recap on the main themes, and they were chaos, confusion and clarity, waves of fire, divine masculine energy, and cosmic earth electrical awakening. So if any of those resonates, do go back and watch the May insights, and you might find that the April insights will also be useful because there's the whole theme of the new energetic era moving through us at the moment. All right, let's move on to the first theme. And theme 1 is called People Pleaser, Breaking Free. And the guides go, you are on the precipice of breaking free from your people-pleasing tendencies. Your awareness of self is expanding, and we celebrate you. We ask you to practice noticing without judgment all the ways you've worn the people-pleasing badge with honor and ego, yet secretly burned with rage, resentment, and injustice. This is now all yours to own. Difficult it may be. You are stronger than you've been led to believe. As the projection ceases, the healing shall begin. On this journey, the light will clear your path, leading you back home to your heart, to love, and to the power that has always resided within you. So I love this message on so many levels, and I can probably talk about this for hours and hours and hours. So I'm going to keep it very, very, very short and just share some tools and ways to recognize your people-pleasing tendencies. And I feel that it is a journey. It's a journey that many of us have been on for years and years and years. But because we are expanding in so many different ways, so I think first maybe we notice the people-pleasing tendencies from our minds, or like in conversations with people, or in our actions and in their behaviors. Now, as we've expanded, we're noticing the people-pleasing tendencies as an energetic conversation, as an energetic push and pull, as an energetic kind of, what's the word? Something boundaries. Oh my God, my brain is so dead at the moment with all the heat. But it's a way of the boundaries being violated. So where your boundaries have been walked over, violated. So there you go. So we are really moving into that. And I think many more of us are going to see how we've kind of leaned into the people-pleasing tendencies, because there has been like this addictive nature to it because of the narratives and the stories that have been behind it. And more, I'll explain this in the next theme as well. So there is this sense of the reason why we can get addicted to it, because it appeases the ego and that good girl and the good boy narrative. So I think all of this is starting to unravel. And I think many more of us right now, we're feeling really, really fatigued, extremely drained, and we might find ourselves lashing out because of the resentment energy, the rage, or their sense of injustice. So all of these things, and then there's also a heaviness to this. And so what happens when we sit in the people-pleasing state, or have these tendency, it tends to drain our energy and our unique essence. And when that has been drained, it's very difficult for us to access our power. So we then end up pulling on power that is outside of us, or looking for safety and security from our minds. So here are some ways to kind of just recognize how and when these show up. So as empaths, many of you already know that we end up absorbing people's energies, and as we grow through this journey, become much more clear within ourselves and have this real sense of grounded, centered in our hearts, and really, really grounded within ourselves, it becomes really easy to discern what is yours and what is not yours. And I think that this is going to be a whole other exercise this month of really discerning what is yours and what is not yours. Okay, and then also going into what are you carrying that is not yours to carry, and why, and really letting that reveal itself to you. And then what are you projecting that's yours to own, and why, and letting that reveal itself to you. And as you move through this discerning of what is yours, what is not yours, taking ownership of your projections and releasing what is not yours to carry, you'll get more of a sense of yourself, and it will go round. It's a cyclical process, and just keep going and keep going and keep going, and just witness yourself. Be a witness of yourself with so much love, kindness, and compassion, because the following things are going to show up. But just know you are going through this process of expansion and accessing new levels of really releasing that people-pleasing tendencies. So you may experience rage, or this sense of being a victim of life situations and circumstances. Or you may feel that you want someone to come and rescue you, and then therefore if you're in those kind of things, you're going to be either projecting, or you're going to be pulling on another energy that is not your energy. And then you may also experience hidden grief, sadness, and loss. Some of you may be feeling the fear of the future, or fear of having no control, or just a sense of confusion. I don't know what is mine. I don't know what is true. I don't know if this is mine, if this is not mine. And I feel that is all part of the process. Again, like I said at the beginning, keep taking the step back. Be the observer. Just notice what is being pulled to you. And then at the same time, keep going within your heart. So if you're trying to process it via your mind, it's going to feel really, really, really confusing. If you allow it to kind of flow through you, move through you, feel the rage, notice the rage, witness it with love and kindness, and then it almost starts to melt. So as I mentioned, resistance is not to be fought or feared. It's simply meant to be held and allow it to melt. So all of these things are really interconnected at the moment. And then as you go through this process is to start to own the parts of yourself. I mean, we all know, yes, I've got this abandonment wound, or I shrink, or I give my power away. We all know about this thing, but really take the time this month to really notice where and when you've abandoned yourself, because this is happening moment to moment by moment. There's a whole new level of awareness for this. How and when you give your power away, how and when, where, which situations do you shrink to fit in? And then this is a key one, overgive to be accepted. And this is really linked to self-worth. So where are you overgiving, whether it's overgiving of your time, whether you're pouring your love into something or someone, and it's over and you're depleting yourself in the process. That's what I mean by overgiving. Or it's crossing a boundary of yours as well, or you feel you need to because you have more than somebody else. So out of guilt, you are overgiving. So really notice that, because all of that is linked to your self-worth. And this is the time as we start to step into our power, we need to know our worth and own our self-worth. And then the last two is like, and notice where you envy another for the life that they have or what they have, who they are, whatever it is in that envy. And then notice where you're leeching on someone else's energy. If someone's pulling on your energy, you may also be leeching on somebody else's energy. And sometimes, you know, if we're feeling really tired, we will pull on someone else's energy. And if you're trying to answer something from your mind, you're more likely to be trying to pull something in to you that you know in your heart is right for you, but the mind doesn't understand it. So just become aware of all of these different dynamics that are playing out. So I feel also the other words that kind of came in is to step into your power. To step into our power, we must own our crap and not to carry what is not ours. So I think that is really important, just to remember that we cannot step into power if we're not taking ownership of our wounding or the shadow that resides within ourselves. And then if we carry on taking on other people's stuff, then, you know, we're not standing in our power, and we're then, you know, really going into those people-pleasing tendencies. And I feel for me, it's been an interesting journey, because this is a journey that I've been on for years. And I would say last year I probably had one of the biggest thing where it is more on the energetic level. And when I had that realization, it's really difficult for my mind to understand, but my body could feel and my heart could feel. And it was, you know, there was this pulling sensation on my energies from various different dimensions. It was nobody's fault. It wasn't the situation's fault. It was just the way that I have been. So I'd attract situations and dynamics that will pull on my energy, but I wasn't aware of it. And then when I became aware of it, it felt like I was going a bit nuts. I'm like, oh my God, this cannot be true. And I'll explain why in the next theme. And then as I went through that, I kept coming back, honoring myself. It was really, really, really uncomfortable. And then it all kind of settled. And then just recently, I would say in the last couple of weeks, I noticed another dynamic. So it's not in the various different interactions. It is in the real subtlety of the energy. So as you expand, you become more and more aware of your energy at new levels and new levels of expansion. So as you become aware of that, you start to feel things on a really, really teeny tiny level, and it feels like a grain of sand. So notice the grain of sand, because that's the next level of releasing those people-pleasing tendency. And that is uncomfortable, like grains of sand are, because you can't quite pinpoint in it because it's so tiny. So you have to hold space for it to like really feel into it. But it's a really empowering journey. And then there's this sense of what comes with it, and it's this sense of confidence within yourself, that it's not coming from outside of you or needing the validation. It's a deeper knowing within yourself that if this feels right for me, it is true, and that's it. So it's interesting how this is all playing out and how all the themes this month are really tied in together. All right, let's move on to theme 2. And theme 2 is called Discernment Through Delusions. This one made me laugh. Just the title made me laugh of it. But hey, we are so in this energy at the moment. And the guides go, as you move through the shattering illusions, the explosive firecrackers shall crescendo to maintain the delusions of these times. Your discernment holds the key to your mental stability. We say, be aware of the firecrackers, but do not let them consume you. Destructive they shall be, yet your power resides within you. Inside your beating heart, there is a wisdom, an inner knowing of the truth of who you truly are. Be still, surrender, and trust your heart to lead the way into a world that you were born to create. So this message is, I guess it sums it up, everything that we're kind of really moving through at the moment. And we are going to be bombarded with more and more information. We already have seen that. We're going to see more of it. And, you know, it's not just the media. It's like people that are consuming the media and then having to kind of discuss it and to make sense of it mentally. And then that creates more noise. Energetically, that creates more noise. So, and just so that you can understand why this can be quite difficult, is that many of us, we have found safety in having knowledge, mental knowledge. If we know it and we understand it, we are safe. And the more we know, the better prepared we are. But what we're finding at the moment is knowledge, and the more we try to acquire the knowledge, the more that it doesn't make sense to our mind, the more frazzled we get, the more we're losing our power or giving our power away, and we're getting disconnected from our bodies and getting anxious and depressed, and all of these things are happening at the moment. So this way of operating is not working to really. You cannot use your mind to discern through delusion. You cannot acquire the information and do the analysis that your mind normally does. This has to be done through the heart and through the felt sense. And the thing is that we already had that. And if you want to call it a technology or tool, we already had that, let's call it compass, that's a better word. We already had that compass within ourselves. We've just been told from the moment that we were born, that compass is wrong. Don't follow it, it's going to take you down the wrong path. Here is a framework, and here's how you follow it. The framework is that you grow up, you go to school, you get a good job, you get married, etc., etc., etc. That is the framework you need to follow. If you follow that, then that is the right way. And how many of you have followed that and just feel so disconnected with yourself and wondering, is there more to life than this? And the answer is yes, there is, and it's inside of you. So this is going to baffle the mind, because what you're doing is you're going inside of your heart and you're switching that compass on. When you start to switch that compass on inside of you, what happens, it starts to illuminate the patterns from the ancestors and your past lives where you have been taught to fit into a box, and the programmings of society, because it will kind of fire off to say, are you sure you want to turn me on because you told me we have to be off, because otherwise all these bad things will happen. And so you almost have to move through that and move through that to reconnect with it. And as you move through that, that's where it can feel like you're going absolutely bonkers, and it will feel really, really crazy for the mind. But if you really, really listen, the body feels really calm. The heart starts to feel alive. And that's the key, is to listen to those two things. Even if your mind's going a little bit crazy, that's why going out into nature, and I've got some tools here in a second that I'll go through. These are the things that are going to help you to move through this. And just remember, your mind is not bad. Your mind just created these programs to protect you and to keep you safe in this box of society of, these are things that you need to do, and if you don't do them, your safety is taken away from you, kind of thing. And now you're going into your heart, and your heart has its own compass, and you're switching that back on, and it's telling you all these things are untrue, and here is the truth. It will fry the mind a little bit, but just know You can move through this, and we're all moving through this at the moment. And the energies right now are really, really supporting us, and it's really asking us to keep going deeper. And that's why sometimes we plateau, we go into our hearts and we think, okay, I've done the work now. And that's why the depth, we don't know how deep our hearts are. So just keep going and keep going, and be playful and explore it. So another quick way of looking at this, and this came up in the meditation from May, is like, imagine that you have been living in this box and now the box doesn't exist. And so you thought the world was inside of the box, and now you're realizing actually there's a whole other world that is your world, that is outside of the box, and actually the box doesn't exist. So yeah, it does fry the brain a little bit. So just be mindful of that. And that's why I think the first message came to say to really take care of yourself. Take time out just to be with you and take care of your needs. It's going to be so important as we go through these next couple of months. So here are some tools to kind of help with this process. Slow down wherever you can slow down. Slow, deep breaths, walking in nature or being anywhere in nature. You can also visualize that. You can talk to trees. Those that know me know I talk to trees. You can talk to trees, to flowers, to water. You can do some work with a practitioner, whether it's energy healing, somatic work, rolfing and fascia tissue work will be really good, because whatever is stuck in your fascias, that can be released, and that you'll find a whole new level of freedom. And turn off your devices, and be mindful of how much you're doomsday scrolling. Don't judge yourself, just notice that you're doing it, and find a way to either put your phone in a box or something like that, or find yourself do something else and leave the phone at home and go for a walk or something. And just become aware of, notice what you are feeding your mind. And here are some other things that you can do just anywhere where you are. You can place your hand on your heart and you can ask your heart, show me the way. And you can also ask your heart, does this feel true for me? And you can also ask, what are you showing me? What do I need to see? So there's some questions that you can really start to have this deeper connection with your heart and conversation with your heart. All right, let's move on to the third theme for this month. And the third theme is called the Divine Feminine Energy. And the guides go, it is time now for the Divine Feminine within you to awaken and rise. Embody her wholeness with joy and pride. She has arrived and is here to thrive. Allow the Divine Feminine energy to move through you. Let her waves of rainbow light nurture and nourish you. Let her warm, healing, all-knowing wisdom flow through you as you open your heart and receive her love unconditionally. Your creativity shall be activated, birthing through you your former soul self into your human form, carrying the luminous union codes of the new energetic era. So this again is another powerful message, and it's absolutely connected to theme 3 from May, which was the divine masculine energy, and theme 3 from April, which was the new energetic era. So it's probably worth watching those two themes so you can see how this all kind of ties in and fits in. And I feel like many of us could have felt the masculine energy, divine masculine energy moving through us last month. And we may feel that we've got this new sense of stability or structure within ourselves, or this new sense of space that has been created that feels safe and protected. And we feel like we are being provided for. So now that we have this, what is happening is that the divine feminine energy is coming up in another new way, and there's a structure now for her to really just flow through. And it's really interesting, as I was kind of tuning into this theme, and I'm just like, okay, what do I write about it? What do you want me to say about it? And all of a sudden I went into my head and I'm just like, oh, actually I'm not meant to, I've got a few things written down, but actually I think I'm just meant to say that. If you're in your head, you're not in your heart. If you're not in your heart, this divine feminine energy it's gonna be tricky for it to flow through you. So simply keep coming back into your heart. And what this energy is really asking us to do, and I think the other reason why when I went to write it and started asking the question, and my mind just kind of went really hard and solid, and it just kind of clogged up, like I couldn't think. And so I'm just like, okay, what is all of this about? And the words that I got was that we are being taught with this energy new ways of listening, new ways of trusting ourselves, and new ways of surrendering into something that we do not know. So listening to our bodies and our hearts, trusting our own inner knowing, our innate wisdom, and surrendering to that inner compass that we have within ourselves. So, and that's quite mind-boggling, and it won't make sense to the mind, because what I think many of us are going to feel is that when we kind of allow the divine feminine energy to take the lead, we're going to find ourselves feeling a little bit uncomfortable and really, really hesitant as well. And this is because we're going to be guided into things that we would never do. We may have thought of it, but we said, no, I'm not going to do that. So we may also have strong beliefs or judgment that stops us from doing that. So say that, I'm trying to think of an example here. I can't think of something, but just say something that you don't like doing, or you say, no, I can't do that. No, I would never do that. I would never do that. Have a look at what the belief is around that and why that is a never, if you're being then asked to go into that. So say that, oh, I would never go to place X because of da 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 da. And then your heart is guiding you to it, and then you meet that resistance again. And this is why to hold that resistance and let it melt away. The more you hold it, you can then start to look at the beliefs and judgments around why you would not do that. And then the way that this energy will guide us is also to things that we could not even think about, that was not even in our awareness or in our consciousness, just something. It's just like a light bulb pops on, and that's it. We go ahead and do it, and it happens in a heartbeat. And this is the thing about this energy. There is this sense of expansion into something new. And the way that I think about it, and the way the last image that I then got with this theme was that, think about a baby. The baby has been in the womb. It knows how to receive its food. It knows its space. It's limited in space, etc., etc., etc. And then when it comes out of the womb into this world, it's got all of this space. And you know that babies are really curled up tightly because they're used to being so tightly curled up, and then eventually they start stretching out their limbs, and there is a curiosity and a fascination as they start to stretch out the limbs. This is the space that we're in. We some of us are still in the birthing canal, some of us have poked our heads out, some of us have maybe poked our shoulder or arm out and feeling the outside world, and some of us are outside of the womb now, but we're still curled up and not quite yet trusting this new world and not surrendering into the space that is there for us. So it is really, really exciting, but also understand it's scary for the mind. So be kind and be compassionate with yourself. All right, let's move on to the fourth and final theme for this month. And this theme is called Light Waves of Love. And the guides go, you have entered into a period of time where the cosmic waves of light are increasing, emanating the frequency of unconditional love, like waves of the ocean. We ask that you open your heart and receive these luminescent cosmic waves of light, as your human form is the conduit between the earth and the cosmos. The earth is shaking in her awakening as she rebirths herself anew. We ask that you ground yourself deep into the earth, allowing the frequency of unconditional love to flow through your human form into the earth. This is the nourishment that she needs to rebirth herself anew. So again, it's a really powerful message. I think I've covered this in one of the other insights. I can't remember which one, but the image that I've always been received from the guides is like our human vessel, our human body, and its nervous system is connected to the cosmos and it's connected to the nervous system of the earth. So what I feel this message is saying is that there's so much light that is incoming at the moment, to allow ourselves to receive it. And as we receive it, not only we will benefit it, we then plant it into the earth, and then that becomes her food that she needs as she goes through this rebirthing process and this change process. So I feel that for some of us, especially those of you that are healers and work with it, and I know many of you have already done grid work and land work and work with the land and clearing the land and healing the land. This is like another level. I've not done the land work or the grid work personally, but I just feel there's that, and then that's going to expand into something else. So, and I feel this is what it's kind of saying. And I feel many of us that are sensitive, over the last couple of months, we have been going through this purging cycle for ourselves, and for the collective and for the earth. So if you have wondered, what the F? What the F is going on with me? Why is there so much rage? Have I not processed all of this in the last couple of years? Why is it coming up again? And it may be that you're not just processing, you process your stuff, and there may be a small amount of your stuff, but then you've gone ahead and processed the collective rage and the rage of the earth, or the sadness or the frustration of other things. So you've been moving it through your system. So if this has been you're probably likely to receive more of this cosmic wave of light, and allow yourself to receive it, because now you've become that clear channel and vessel, because you've purged it all out. You can receive that light and embed that light into the earth. So you may wish to go out in nature and use your intuition and work with this cosmic light, and bringing it through your body and then out through your soles of your feet, or out through your hands and giving it back to the earth. Or you may want to do it as part of a meditation, and I think there are many meditations that sends healing light and love to the earth and people around the earth. So it could be something like that as well. And for some of you, it may be more practical. So what are the ways in which, what are the things that you buy? Where do you buy from? What do you use? How do you use them? And are there, one-time use, or is it multiple uses that you get out of it? And this way you're starting to think about the environmental impact to the earth. And then also think about how you're using AI as well. And they operate from data centers, and those of you guys that are in technology, and you don't need to be in technology to know that, but data centers, they're operating, and I've not seen the AI ones, but I have seen some of the old school ones. They need air conditioning and electricity to run the air conditioning, and they need water. So it's a lot of the resources go into running those data centers. So that as the demand for AI goes up, the demand for the data center goes up, and the demand for the data centers go up, then there's going to be more demand on electricity and water, etc., etc., etc. You get the drift. So yeah, just think about that. So some of you guys may be doing it more on a practical level versus an energetic level, and just know that all of them are all valid. All right, I finally got through these insights. Yay, I'm so happy. Oh my goodness, it took me hours to get through them before, and I'm so happy that I've got through them. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all so much for watching this. And I just really want to say, be super, super, super kind and gentle with yourself, and take care of yourself first. Take care of your needs. There is so much that is going on this month. There's going to be even more that is going to be going on next month, and also in August going forward. But also remember, with all of these things that are going on, there's a beautiful undercurrent of beautiful love and light that is birthing through us. And I know some of you feel, oh, I can't find it, I can't see it, there's too much darkness, etc., etc. And that is okay. That is okay. And that's probably part of your journey. And I'm just here to say, I know that feeling. I know that darkness very, 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 very well, intimately. And oh my God, there were times when I felt, that's it, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. It's just too much. It is so overwhelming. But in that moment, something happens. There are many moments, and there's these little things that happens when you get to the real darkest, darkest, darkest point. something switches. And then you start to come out of it, but you don't realize that you were out of it until you start to feel, oh, hang on, I don't feel the same as I did before. And that is part of the process that many of us are going through at the moment. So be kind. Seek support where you need support. And it's not necessarily always your friends, because friends are also going through this, and relationships are changing so fast at the moment as well. Have the support system you need. So have your friendship circles, have the body work, have the walks in nature, have the therapists, have the healers, have whatever it is that you need. Support yourself through this process. The more you support yourself, the more you're able to navigate it, and the more you'll be able to come back into your heart's center. So with that, thank you all once again so much for watching these insights. If you've enjoyed them, please do go ahead and share them with your families, your friends, your co-workers and your loved ones. Comment below, leave a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do go ahead and subscribe to this channel. And then if you're looking for additional support this month, come and join the Energetic Alignment Group Healing Meditation Journeys. That is taking place on Sunday the 21st of June at our usual time, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. I then think it's 6 p.m. UK time and 7 p.m. European time. And the theme this month is called The Divine Feminine Energy. And the link for that is below. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching this very long insights. And I will see you in July. And I'm sure it's going to fly by. All right, take care and have a wonderful June. Bye for now.